Yay, hello everyone. Welcome. I know. Welcome everyone. Hello. I'm so happy that you're all here again for day three. I'm so excited. And I hope that you're all having a wonderful day today. Please take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat, say hi, and let us know where you're tuning in from. And if you've been here all the days, thank you so much again for joining us and being here with us and creating all the fun things. I've been having the best time, and I hope that you have having a wonderful time as well. Max says hello. I'm going to pull up the chat. I want to see where y'all tuning in from. Max, everyone says hi to you. Wow, amazing. Oh my goodness. The chat's going so fast. I'm trying to read out a couple of names. Oh, but everyone, that's so amazing. Again, we have someone from Australia, Georgia, from New York, Arizona, from Texas, Florida. Amazing. You've been here since Kimberly. Thank you so much for being here since day one. So amazing. Thank you so much. We are so happy that you're all here. Oh my goodness. Well, I have a good feeling that today's going to be an amazing call. Before we dive into everything, I also want to introduce my amazing creative assistants. If you are new here, I have two people helping me out today, Sophia and Amy. They'll be helping out during today's call and just help answer any questions in the chat and offer any guidance. So we're all here to help you all. Please say hi to them, my team. And Amy and Sophia, if you want to unmute yourselves, feel free to add anything you'd like. Or you can go ahead and type in the chat.
Hi everyone. So glad to have you here.
Yeah. Thanks, Amy.
Hi
Okay.
guys. I hope you guys have a great day today. I'm gonna join along as well with you guys in terms of learning. So I hope you ha all have like a great day and let's all enjoy this workshop. Yay!
Yay. Thank you, Sophia. Okay, I'm gonna put Max down. I think Max wants to go back in his bed, but yeah. Thanks everyone for saying hi to Mr. Max. Amazing. Well, I'm so excited. I feel like people are still tuning in, so I'll go ahead and pull up my introduction. It's going to be kind of the same intro in case you are joining in for the first time. I want to make sure that you feel good and you know what to expect for today. So give me all 1 minute. Let me get my screen ready as well. Okay, I believe you can see my screen. Awesome. Well, hello everyone again. I cannot believe we are here for day three of the 4-day hand lettering workshop, where we turn blank pages into beautiful hand lettered cards. Sorry, give me 1 second as well. Let me minimize my screen. Okay. Awesome. So I'm happy that you're all here with me again. Thank you so much for taking the time to just join me this entire week. And if it's your first time today, welcome, welcome. So happy that you're spending your time with me today and this week. So before we start, again, I know I mentioned it yesterday and the day before, but I just want to say that I'm so proud of you all for committing to yourself and this creative journey. I know trying a new hobby can be really intimidating and like overwhelming, so I'm just so proud of you, happy that you're here, and I feel like you deserve to create all the beautiful things for you. So welcome, welcome. So if you are new here and you've never heard about me or you don't know me, I'm Shelly, also known as Letters by Shells. I'm a lettering artist, illustrator, and a DIYer. And these are a couple of the artworks that I've created. And I just thought it'd be really fun to introduce a little bit about my creative journey, how I got started, in case you have questions and wonder how I started teaching hand lettering. My whole journey started back in 2015 when I realized how unhappy I was at my full-time insurance job. I honestly just wanted to creative outlet outside of work. And I dabbled into hand lettering because my goal was to decorate my work cubicle with positive affirmations. And these are a couple of the artworks that I created early on and just like some side by side comparisons. But yeah, I started posting my artwork online because I mentioned it yesterday, but I did not want my friends and family to see my work, and I was just really new to everything, and I didn't know if I was even making progress. So thought posting on Instagram would be a good way to see like, am I making progress? Because I feel like it's really hard when you're staring at your work all the time. So this whole journey led me to start teaching hand lettering workshops in person because I remember I was so confused when I first started. I had a lot of questions and I just feel like you could tell me instructions, you can tell me how to do something, but I didn't understand it. And I feel like for me, I had to just kind of figure out my own way. But I know that even with my own research at the time, there just wasn't a lot of information out there with hand lettering because it was kind of like a really new craft also. I know traditional calligraphy was always there, but I couldn't find anything specifically about like brush lettering, modern calligraphy. So I wanted to create like a step-by-step path that made sense to me because it took me about a good year to figure out my whole journey with brush lettering. But I wanted to make sure I figured out a path that's good for like all of us learning for the first time. So that way you can get started on day one. And since then, I've been really honored to teach workshops all over the world. I taught like I started teaching in California, that's where I'm based. And then I started traveling. I've done a few workshops in like Japan, Australia, and New York, which I am so grateful for the experience. And in 2019, I also got the opportunity to become a published author. I wrote the book called Digital Hand Lettering and Modern Calligraphy. And that's the reason why my whole workshop series, I want to talk about both hand lettering and iPad lettering because I feel like it's awesome to like learn two different mediums at the same time if you're interested because the techniques still apply the same way. But yeah, so this is our schedule for this week. So far, we already covered the lettering basics on Monday, day one. And on day two, yesterday, we created our first thank you card using brush pens, which everyone's work was so beautiful, by the way. And then today, we're going to be creating a happy birthday card using the iPad. But feel free, if you don't have an iPad, you can still use your brush pens. The techniques will apply the exact same way as well. And also, the replays are already up for day one and day two. I believe my team can copy and paste the link in the chat. And make sure that you're also checking the daily reminders that I've been sending out. It's like a recap email. I provide all the links that we used in there. I just remembered I did not. I know we were talking about a kneaded eraser yesterday. I didn't actually get to link that, but I will in today's email. But yeah, it's just like a helpful email for y'all for quick links if you're interested. So make sure you are opening those emails. And yeah, and on day four, we're gonna have a big wrap up, a huge Q&A. And I'm also gonna talk a little bit about my beginner's hand lettering course, which is my first course I'm gonna be launching for the first time. And I'm really excited to have you all with this journey, to be a part of this journey with me. We're gonna have an opportunity to become a founding member and just help shape the future of this course as well. But yeah, we're gonna also announce our grand prize giveaway winners. So yeah, thank you so much again for just being a part of this whole experience with me. So a couple of the tools that I'll be reviewing, um, no worries if you don't have the exact same tools that I have, but just so that way if you are wondering for brush pens, I like to use a Tombow Feud brush pen, Pentel Sign brush pen, a Zig Feud, and a Crayola marker. And for the iPad, I'll just be using my Procreate app, and any iPad with an Apple Pencil will be perfect. And I also recommend my Procreate brush, but for today's class, we're going to use one of the Procreate brushes. I know that I had my own opinions about it on Monday, but I made some tweaks and I feel like we can be in a really good place because I want to make sure that we focus more energy and time on the actual project. So I'll just go ahead and give some quick tips on how to navigate the brush and we'll be able to create our very first piece together with iPad. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm all good here with that. So these are the card templates for today, which is really exciting. Just like yesterday, I wanted to also have these templates available for you all. They're not required to have, but I think it's a good thing to reference in case you are wondering like that step-by-step process. And I believe my team can also share that template as well. So make sure to keep that handy. I made three different or like two different card designs for y'all. So this is kind of like the breakdown. And I wanted to break it down this way because I know what it's like creating like even any piece. It can be really overwhelming when you just see like the final product and you're not too sure how to go about that process. So with that template, I went ahead and include like steps. So the step one is just going to be one focus at a time. So we're going to focus on the hand lettering portion first along with the how to fill like the negative space. So I like to start with drawing illustrations in each corners, and then we'll start filling and building and yeah, and adding smaller details to cover that or to fill that negative space. So that's kind of like my breakdown for that. Okay. So I also want to make sure that you're making the most out of your hand letter out of this week as well, because I want to make sure that you feel good about everything. So remember not to stress about perfection. It's okay to mess up and try again. That's how we learn. And make sure you're also asking all the questions. I'm here to help you all, and chances are someone else has the exact same questions as well. And remember to have fun this week because I know with the iPad portion, it can be kind of intimidating, but make sure, we're all doing this together and just go at your own pace and create all the things that you feel good about. So this is also the giveaway details as well. So every day we're going to do our daily giveaways. We're doing 5 giveaways today as well. So all you have to do is just be on this call with me. And also, for the grand prize giveaway, there are some instructions, and my team can link the giveaway details. Basically, you just have to follow the steps. I believe I can kind of show it would be here. And basically, at the very bottom, it says submit your artwork, and then it'll redirect you to this form, and you just have to fill it out, and that's your entry. And feel free to enter multiple times. You can upload your artwork for each day, and it'll give you multiple entries. Okay, so these are the giveaway prizes for today. We're going to do 3 digital prizes. This is going to be my 10 different styles practice sheets along with my favorite Procreate brushes. And then 2 winners will also receive the same bundle in addition to my 16 styles workbook and my favorite brush pens as well. So yeah, it's really exciting and I hope you're all excited too. I know my workbooks look the same, but I promise they're all different for each day. So this is the lettering community. I believe my team can also link that in the chat as well. I want you all to show up, say hi, introduce yourself, and show your amazing work. I did a quick recording of today's because I realized that we're all posting our artwork from yesterday, the thank you cards, and I feel like it was so beautiful. So thank you so much for being a part of that. And I mentioned it yesterday also, but I know that I feel like this is a beautiful moment where we're all learning the same craft together, where we have the same interests. So I feel like this is a wonderful time to meet other fellow creatives. So please do introduce yourself, cheer each other on, and comment as well. Yeah. Okay, so now again, I know the last 2 days I wanted to share like one of my favorite quotes, and this one I feel like can really speak to us today. So, creativity is allowing oneself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep by Scott Adams. And I feel like that was really powerful. Okay, so now it's time for all the fun things. We're going to get into our hand lettering portion. So I'm going to share my table so you can see the iPad that I'll be working with. But in the meantime, as I do that, I'm gonna also see in the chat what's going on. So just bear with me. Yay. Okay. Awesome. I think you see this good. This is just like my doc reader, so you can see all the things. I just have to adjust it accordingly. But as I do that, I also want to see in the chat what's going on. Excited to make your own birthday cards. Yes, honestly, the reason why I chose this birthday quote, and I know it can be really intimidating, so feel free to use the templates that I included. Honestly, there are so many times I bought my own birthday cards like for other people but sometimes I just don't have time to do that. So I'm able to get away with making my own cards and it's been really fun actually. Okay, so now you should see everything. I'm thrilled to use Procreate. Awesome. Yay. Just checking in everything. So before I talk about the Procreate app, I do want to announce our first giveaway winner, Kimberly. I believe my team can also get your details because I don't know if there's multiple Kimberlys in here. Um I don't know if we got like your screen name, but Kimberly, congratulations. You won the digital prize of the digital guide of my practice sheets and the Procreate brush. Feel free to send us an email over at hello@lettersbyshells.com and we can get that prize to you. And I believe my team, Sophia, can figure out which Kimberly. Awesome. Congratulations. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so with the Procreate app, I'm going to not use a template that I made for you all because I want to just showcase how to use the canvas itself. So if you go to the main page on like the gallery, this is what it looks like. So the one thing that I did not understand on Procreate was how to like make my own canvas. So we're going to tap on this button right here at the upper right corner, this plus sign. Just tap on that and then it'll give you these canvas options. Yeah, I made a lot of canvases, so ignore all of those, but I like to just honestly like even for cards, I think it depends, but let's just do it in we're gonna do it in inches and just do 8.5 by 11. So the width is going to be 8.5 and then the width or the height will be 11. So yeah, so width is 8.5 and height's 11. And for the DPI, I'll just leave it at 300. And yeah, I think that's good. We don't need that many layers to work with. Okay, and then hit done. And then we're gonna hit create again. So in case you missed it, I'm gonna do it one more time. So on the main gallery page, we're just gonna tap on this icon right here, the plus symbol. Tap on it once. And then you'll see that canvas. And we're gonna tap on these like two double boxes right here. Sorry, I don't think I even mentioned that earlier. But basically we're going to tap on these two boxes, tap on that, and then it'll bring you back to this main screen. And then just at the bottom left-hand side, change it to inches. And then we'll just do width 8.5 and then height will be 11. And then tap on done. And then in the upper right corner, tap on create. Awesome. So that is how we open our canvas. So with the canvas, you can just use two fingers and you can rotate it if you'd like and just like move it around just to kind of get a good feel for the app. But yeah, I think we're going to actually turn it horizontal like that. So imagine like we're just going to use making a birthday card. We can just like create it all on the right hand side here. Okay. So with that, let me go ahead and actually show you all one other feature. In Procreate, you can create some like guidelines to give you some like help if you are wanting to write certain things straight. So if you tap on this wrench symbol next to the word gallery on the left-hand side, that wrench, the I'm going to zoom in actually so you can see it better. Right here, the wrench symbol, tap it once, and then it should open up the actions, and the actions will have an option called canvas. So tap on canvas, and then there should be an option for a drawing guide, and then turn that on, and you can actually edit the drawing guide to make it to the sizing that you're interested in. So just tap on edit drawing guide, and you can adjust like the grid size, and so you can adjust the grid size at the bottom right here where it says grid size, and you'll see that you can adjust it. I'm going to actually adjust it to about 330 pixel. Sorry, I know I moved my camera. I'm trying to see if I can. Okay, I think that might be better. Okay, and then tap on done. Yep, so that's just to help us if you need. So for the birthday card, let's just go ahead and use the entire canvas for now, and then we can always resize it and finalize it at the end. So that way, I don't want you to feel like you only have like this section to work with. So first off, when we are sketching anything out and just like hand lettering, I know I had mentioned it yesterday as well. I want to make sure that this is like not your first attempt is not your final attempt. So I want to make sure that we take it step by step. So we are going to open up the brushes here, the brush library, and we're going to actually use a sketch brush first. So I like to actually, before we go into the calligraphy brushes here, let's go to your sketching folder and just choose your pencil. So under sketching folder, tap on pencil. And I'm reading the comments. I remember watching your YouTube video about this custom canvas and also how to draw a straight line and perfect circle when I started using Procreate. Made life so much easier. I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Oh, thank you so much for that comment. I'll make sure to also link that video because yeah, that was a very helpful video. I made a YouTube video called like I think like 5 things I wish I knew about Procreate when I first started, and yeah. So thank you so much. I'm really glad. I believe my grid size, I did about 338 pixel. 338? Yeah. And then yeah, so we're just gonna use the pencils 6B. You can use honestly whichever one. I just like that one. Okay, so I want to make sure that we are sketching out the word birthday because I know that's a long word. It's very intimidating. So I want to make sure you feel good about it. So feel free, you can always use like the templates that I have for reference to get that style down. But just like our breakdown yesterday with the word birthday, let's go ahead and just I'm gonna write it in print again, and then it will connect it together. Okay. So I'm just going to write my birthday word. And I also want to make sure I'm mindful of the spacing in between each of the letters, because then in calligraphy, we want to make sure that we are connecting the letters together. Okay, so a couple of things I didn't mention about Procreate. You can zoom in and out to get that sizing you're looking for. And I don't know how this was a thing, but there are common shortcuts in Procreate if you want to undo anything. I mentioned something about opening up the canvas, and you can just like hit clear everything. But one of the shortcuts is just using 2 fingers and just tapping the screen, and just basically undoes everything. If that is not comfortable, there's also the undo and redo buttons on, I believe for me, it's on my left-hand side, because I think you can move this around. You could, but I can't. So, yeah. So that's my word birthday. So, when we are kind of seeing how we wrote everything, I want you to think about, okay, how can we connect the next letter to the next? So I'm going to change my pencil color. So I'm just going to open up in the upper right-hand corner the color palette. I'm just going to actually do like the color blue. So that way you can kind of understand how I'm going to be connecting it all together. So with this, if you take a look at my guide, you'll see that I have like a loop right here. It's just like part of that modern calligraphy style. So we're just basically going to connect that to the next line. You can add more of like, you can angle it a little bit higher like that. It doesn't have to be like straight. Okay. And I'm going to also now right here round out the bottom and then bring it to the top right there. Surrounding it out to the top. So with the word or with the letter R, there are multiple ways of doing that style. The common one that I like to do, I feel like it kind of reminds me a little bit of cursive, but it's like my own version that I created, so feel free to do the same. It's basically, I like to start from the top and then dip down, like go out like a curve, almost like drawing or writing the letter U, but like just like the first part of it. And then I'll add a curve going downwards. Okay. So it's not straight down, but like more like a curve toward like into the letter. And then I'll bring this exit stroke right here. And just we're just going to connect this to the T. And we're just going to do the same for the rest of the letters. So making sure that we are curving it at the bottom right here and bringing it to the top. Okay. Curving it, bring it to the top. Curving it at the bottom and bring it to the top. I know I'm going pretty fast with this portion, but I hope that process makes sense and just in terms of like how to connect it and feel good about it. So the brush that I'm currently using, I'm just using the pencil brush in the sketch folder just to give us the perspective, and then we'll use the calligraphy brush together. Yeah, Jillian says, I like your technique. I'm so glad. I know it's just, it seems pretty straightforward, but I feel like it's a good breakdown just to kind of identify and help with the spacing, especially if you're trying it for the first time. And yeah, I don't want it to be super overwhelming, so I'm really glad. So now that I connected it all together, I can now change my color again. I'm gonna do more like a orange color this time. Because then I want to now take a step back and see, okay, like how can I change a couple of things? Maybe I can add more of like a curve here. And those are things that I'm going to try to identify. So taking a step back and seeing the template, you'll see that I have like a loop right here. So I'm going to add my loop like that. So again, going up and down. And maybe you can also draw like an entrance stroke going in like that. And this is a perfect time for you to kind of see, okay, maybe you can make this a little bit smaller if you want. And just manipulating like the angles and kind of seeing what you want the final product to look like. If this is confusing, you can use the exact same color, but I just wanted to help identify how, with each step, what exactly I'm doing. And you'll see that because the B has a loop, maybe I can add a loop for the H as well. Okay. And this is just your time to like resize a couple of the letters, make sure you feel good about it. Add some more loops. I'm going to add another one right here at the D. So like a loop and then back down. Yeah, maybe I can curve it more. It's just a guide for you to be prepared. So when you do trace over and do the final version, you feel really good about it. And then maybe here I want to add a loop as well. So maybe I can extend outwards and add like a loop like this. And then an exit stroke. Like that. I hope that was really helpful to kind of see that breakdown. And this is exactly like what I did early on to understand what type of style it was that I was looking for also. And then let's say we can add like a wavy line here to make it really fun. That. Awesome. So with that process, I'm going to now open up the layers tab. So the two double boxes next to the color palette wheel on the left-hand side here. So I'm just going to tap on two boxes and then it's going to be the layers tab. With this, you can continue to work on this layer if you're sketching it out, but if you are wanting to do like the final version, I would recommend opening up a brand new layer because I've made so many mistakes where like the final artwork was on the sketch layer and I had to do the whole artwork all over again. So I want you to just kind of get used to the habit of building out and like by like using the layers. So think of layers almost like you're just layering pieces of paper on top of each other. That's all that it is. Yeah, so on the second layer, I can actually, before I do the final, let me just do one more thing. Let's say if there's any last minute tweaks that you want to do with this, you can. I'm gonna do maybe like use purple. I think I might want to zoom out a bit and just kind of take a step back and think, okay, maybe I can make the heights of the B, H, and D a little bit shorter. So all I have to do is just draw it smaller and I'll draw these like everything else shorter as well. You don't have to, but I just noticed that you just have options. I'm just kind of changing the angle and the style a bit. Yeah. And once you feel you're in a good place, we can open up, make sure you are on a brand new layer and not the sketch layer. So I just went ahead and tap on the plus symbol and opened up a new layer. Awesome. Yep. I'm taking a look at the yeah, Jody says I'm following along on paper since I don't have an iPad, and yeah, that's beautiful. If you have like different colored markers or even a pencil, the sketch process will definitely be good for that. Yeah, awesome. Okay, so I know someone had mentioned about the thickness. We can get into it because we're going to, I guess I feel pretty good about it and I hope we're like in a good place. I'm going to open up the Procreate brushes and I will address that question as well. So we are going to go to the brush library again and go to the calligraphy folder this time. And at the very bottom, there should be a script brush. It's like it should be the last one. So under calligraphy, go to script. And you should all have it because it's part of the Procreate app. For some reason, if maybe you are not updated or something, you can just use like the brush pen option. But we're gonna make some tweaks because I know I mentioned yesterday or on Monday, I'm not a big fan of the Procreate brushes available. But if we make a couple of tweaks, we will be able to use it. So tap on the script brush. So again, calligraphy folder, tap on script. And when you choose that brush, I'm going to have you tap it again because that's going to open up the settings of the Procreate brush. And I'm sorry, I know that's like really bright here. I'll try to zoom in so you can see it. My iPad's a little bit dusty though. Okay. I think I think you can see it all right. So when it comes to using this, like just opening up any of the brushes in the Procreate app, oftentimes there are settings of, I think this is like the first screen that you'll see is called stroke path. Yeah, so I know the lighting's pretty intense, but basically it is called stroke path at the very top right there. We're gonna leave that one alone. I don't know if you can see it okay. We're just going to go down to the stabilization. And if you tap on the stabilization option, the amount of the streamline should be about like 50%. That's like usually the default. I will have you increase it. We're going to increase the amount of streamline to 100%. That's going to create those like really smooth lines for us. So again, under the stabilization, increase your streamline. So after we do that, you can like test it out here. But I noticed that when I use this brush, the upstrokes were really, really thin, and I don't want that. So I'm going to go now down to the Apple Pencil settings. I'm sorry, no, not Apple Pencil. It is going to be under properties. So right underneath the Apple Pencil, go under properties. And the minimum size is currently at like 0%. We're going to change that to about 5%. So under properties, minimum size, 5%. And everything else, we're going to not going to touch it. Okay. And we're going to tap on done. Okay. So now we have like our own like custom brush that we made. And if you ever want to like reset the brush, you can. So if you don't like my settings that we worked on, if you tap on the brush again, it'll open up the settings tab and just go down to about this brush and you can just reset all the settings and it'll just go back to how it was. Okay. So before we trace over this, make sure you are on a new layer. So we're going to open up our canvas. And I know Stacy mentioned you like to rename the layers. Yeah, no, that is a good one. You can rename it by just tapping on that layer here, and then you can tap on rename. And yeah, that's always a good one. So before we trace over anything and we are on a new layer, I want to make sure that you get a good feel for the calligraphy strokes again. So when we apply like our heavy pressure from like top to bottom, you should see those really thick lines. My brush size right now, I think it was like 9%. I'm going to increase it to about 14% and kind of see if I like that thickness too. It might be a little bit too thick for what we're doing, but okay, maybe I'll do like 10%, but explore it, see which one you like best. So again, we're just applying heavy pressure from the very top and going straight down. I know in my previous class, we had talked about like, do we go straight down or at an angle? It's totally up to you. So now when we are doing the upstrokes, we're going to apply light pressure. So starting from the very bottom and apply light pressure going up. And you should be able to see that contrast. And with the iPad itself, if for some reason your Apple Pencil is not changing sizes, it could honestly just be that I guess I want to check to see if it's an Apple Pencil. or if you have or if you have a stylus. And I know Cindy, I saw your comment. Don't go. No, no, stay here. You can still use the same techniques on with using your brush pens. It works the same way. So we're just practicing the common drills here. Okay. So as long as we feel good about everything, so again, just have some fun, practice it around. Okay. And then once we feel like we're in a good spot, then we're going to finally trace everything. But yeah, Cindy, I hope you're still here. Do not leave, you guys. Please stay here. Yeah. So hopefully that whole breakdown made sense. So always remember thick down, so thick strokes down and thin with your upstrokes. Yeah, and Bonnie, I know you mentioned yours not changing sizes. Do you have by any chance a stylus or Apple Pencil? Because then if you are using a stylus, you can just create monoline lettering, which is totally fine too. It's going to just be a one pressure. So like we talked about, I'll do the strokes here. If we do like a downstroke and if your pencil is not changing pressure, all you have to do is just create another stroke to create the thick lines for your faux calligraphy. That's it. And that's like the exact same thing maybe if you're using like the Adobe Fresco app because I know the pressure it doesn't change the same way Procreate app does. Okay. So how are y'all feeling so far with the word birthday? I know it was a lot, but I thought it was important to really break it down before we trace over the final. So I'm going to open up a brand new layer again. And then I'm just going to hide the other layer. Maybe if it's on the same layer as your sketch, feel free. You can leave it and we'll just hide everything later. But I'm going to now choose a different color. I like to choose one that's, um, I feel like I used all of my favorite colors that I normally would use. Let me just use I'm gonna use like a green color and I think I'm just gonna adjust it a bit so that way I can make sure that I can see my what I wrote. Actually, the screen is not easy to see. I think that's good. I just want to make sure that I have enough contrast so I know that I can still see what I sketched behind everything. Okay, so starting with our upstrokes, we are going to start with our upstrokes here. So remember, light pressure up, and we're going to have to bring it all the way to the top right here and curve it over. So right here, feel free if you want to take that break, you can. But if you are able to really get into I guess if it's easier for you, you can always do it in one stroke. But if you stop right here, all you have to do is just connect it back and then add heavy pressure, go back down. And we're just going to do the same thing. So again, light pressure up, heavy pressure back down. We have to kind of bring it all the way over to connect it. So again, light pressure. You can stop here. I guess you can stop every time there's like a downstroke because you can always, you don't have to connect it seamlessly. I know Stacy mentioned changing the opacity of your sketch layer when tracing. Yeah, that's definitely an option. I do it sometimes. It kind of depends what I'm working with, but for my lettering, I don't think I do that. I only do it with like my illustrations. But yeah, you can definitely change the opacity. The opacity would just be on your layers tab. You don't have to do this. I just want to show you so you know where it's at. In the layers tab, tap on this letter N and you just reduce the opacity here. And you'll see that it could definitely help depending on what color brush you're using. Okay. So now we're going to start with our upstroke again, continue that stroke and go back to the top. And we're just gonna continue trace over this. And I know it's a long word, so honestly, if your first attempt isn't what you love, you can always do it over again. Okay, so I'm gonna just get into it as well. So my downstroke, then upstroke, and then downstroke, and then just gonna be another downstroke again, and just continuing that same thing. I think the battle is just remembering our upstrokes are always going to be light pressure, so we just have to make those changes. And I know Becky on, I believe it was on Monday, Becky had asked about lifting the pen. So I always lift my brush pens, and with the Apple Pencil, it like it's the same way too. I think it just depends if I'm really familiar with that letter or word that I'm writing, maybe I might not lift my pen. But if it's like something I'm not really familiar or comfortable writing with, I'll definitely lift my pen to reset. I think it's just a helpful way for me to remember, okay, I have to like when I lift my pen, I have to change my strokes. So kind of like right here, I started with my downstroke. Now lifting my Apple Pencil, now go back into it and do light pressure up and then go back down. Sorry, I know I didn't lift my pen there. I know I mentioned like with the N-shaped drills, it's a lot easier just to do it in one continuous stroke. So this was actually not the best example, but I'll do it for the letter, I'll do it for the letter D. Okay, so I'll finish the stroke right here. Okay, so when we do our oval for the letter D, we're going to start with I like to start right here and start with our upstroke and then our heavy pressure downstroke and then a light pressure. So if you want to take your pauses, you can always start by transitioning from your light and then heavy back down. And this is where I would lift my Apple Pencil to readjust. I think it just, some strokes can be easier, but for these ones, when it's transitioning from like your heavy pressure to, oh, like I think like heavy pressure to a light pressure, it can be kind of challenging to like change. So then I'll connect it back and do my light upstroke here. That. Yeah. So hopefully that breakdown is helpful. It's just every time you lift your Apple Pencil, it's just a good way for you just to like in your mind reset and just know that okay, it's going to be a different pressure change. Okay, I'm going to just continue off on the letters. But I know, yeah, so I guess it depends if I'm more comfortable with that letter as well. But yeah, honestly, that's a good thing though if you are noticing that like like if it's easier for you to take those pauses because I feel like that's just gonna help you be more prepared and it's just gonna help you build like your muscle memory with hand lettering as well. Okay, so now with that, I'm going to now curve and add a line right here with the T and then just dot my I. So I know that was a lot. Honestly, if you want to like trace it over again, feel free to do so. I'm going to open up my layers tab and just unhide my sketch layers and you'll see our hand lettering here. So Gloria asked a really great question. What recommendations do you have when you don't want it to look so straight? Like you want all your letters to have a little more character by being a little higher and lower than the other. Yeah, that is like one of my signature styles. Like I call it bouncy lettering. Um, Definitely, it's like the exact same thing that we did here, sketching it all out. So sketch it out one way, take a step back, and then kind of manipulate the letters, dip down a little bit further, and just kind of explore it. And then once you feel good about it, then yeah, that would be where you can create your final piece. Yeah, April said amazing. I did it. Aw, thank you, April, for being here. Okay, so before I start talking about everything else here, I do want to do our other two giveaway winners. It's still going to be the digital prize. It's going to be the practice sheets and the Procreate brush set. So the two winners for that, it is Anna Zimmer and Aaron C. So again, Anna Zimmer and Aaron C. Congratulations! Feel free to email us over at hello@othersbyshells.com to claim your prize, but congratulations! That's amazing. Thank you all for, yeah, just being here. And I love giveaways, and I feel like it it brightens my day, so I'm happy that you're all excited too. So now with that, I'm going to open up a new layer again because it's just a little bit easier to just start that way. And that way, if you need to like move things around, it'll be a lot more seamless to do so. So our word happy, you can sketch it out again. I'm not going to this time. I'm just gonna use the same Procreate brush. If I want to maybe like redo it, then I'll just use the same brush though. But feel free to use a pencil brush again if you'd like. But with the word happy, it's just gonna be my normal like all caps hand lettering, but with like the difference is I'm making sure that I apply the heavy pressure as well for my downstroke and light pressure for my upstroke. I might manipulate this a little bit. I think might have made it a little bit too tall. So kind of taking a step back and seeing, I might make it a little bit shorter here. So what you can do is at the top right here next to the arrow button, it's like a ribbon button. Go ahead and tap on it once. If you are on the like automatic tab, make sure at the bottom you are on the freehand tab. And the freehand tab, you just go ahead and circle what you want to move around. Okay. And just tap on the arrow button and you can manipulate it this way. So I'm going to, okay, I got to make sure I'm on free form. So at the bottom, make sure you're on free form, not uniform. But on free form, I can just make it a little bit shorter if I'd like. Yeah. And then tap on your arrow again and you can move it around freely. And that's kind of like how you move things also. And in my recap email, I will provide that YouTube video. It was just like helpful tips that I learned, and that was one of them. Okay. So now with that, how do we all feel with our happy birthday so far? I hope that you're all having a great time. Okay. So I hope that you're proud of your piece that you created. I love it. I love that you're all here with me. So now we're going to open up a new layer here. And we can just kind of like think about how to sketch things. But if you are going to create it for a card, and if you want to just like print this canvas, we're just going to, you can highlight these two words here. So by highlighting multiple layers, you would open up the layers tab and then tap on the first layer that you want to move. And you basically can tap on this layer underneath it, not just like a tap, you have to like swipe to the right. I honestly don't know how I figured out these things, but yeah, that's the only way to highlight two layers at the same time. Okay. So again, it's like you tap on the first layer and you swipe a little bit to the right, and you'll be able to uh, choose your two layers here. And then now we're going to tap on the arrow button at the very top here. And this is the chance. I actually want you all to now go to the uniform setting. So that way, when you are resizing it, you're resizing it all together at the same height and width, like that. Because if you do it on the free form, it's going to be like you can manipulate it in different ways, but I want to make sure that it's consistent. So on the uniform setting at the bottom, can go ahead and resize it all together. And we're just going to move it to the right hand side because when you print it out, you can fold it over. Yeah, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Yeah. And then tap on, you can tap anywhere actually. Like, or I guess we'll tap on the arrow button right there. Okay. Okay. And now with this, we can change the color of our happy birthday if you don't want it to be green. And change it to honestly, or like, let's change it to the color black for now. I'm gonna open up my palette, choose the color black, and then what you have to do is this. You do kind of have to do a couple of things, so just bear with me here. On the layers tab, we are going to tap on the layer. There are some shortcuts, but I want you all to follow it this way because it's a little bit easier. Tap on the first layer that you want to recolor, and then tap on Alpha Lock. And basically, it's going to lock it in place. So you should be able to see like a checkered background behind it, and that will allow you to recolor exactly what you locked. So then you just tap on it again and then tap on fill layer and it'll fill in the happy. And you just do the same for the birthday. So you just tap it once, have the settings come up and tap on alpha lock and then tap it one more time and then fill layer. Okay. So again, it's going to be in the layers tab. And if you want to recolor certain things, just tap on the layer that you want to recolor, tap it once. And then when you have the settings, make sure the alpha lock setting is turned on. You should be able to tell because it creates this like checkered background behind it. And then after it's turned on, then you can like tap it again and tap on fill layer. So, yeah. Okay. So now with that, I'm going to open up a brand new canvas or a new layer, I mean. And let's go ahead and open up that sketching brush again. It's going to be sketching folder and pencil brush. And I'm just going to sketch around and kind of see like my illustration doodles, how I had it. I don't have the happy birthday example next to me, but I believe the way that I did it, it was like just like a really fun box shape. The goal for me is to make sure that it looks very hand drawn. That's what I'm going for. So I kind of angled it and I made sure to also do the same on the right hand bottom side as well. Yeah, like that. And we can add some fun ribbons. So have fun with this portion. I know that we are coming close to time. Feel free, you can still hang out with me and we can finish up this card together. I felt really bad that we didn't finish the thank you card yesterday on my end because my inks were still, it was still wet. But I do think it's time for our fourth giveaway prize. So that one is the digital product along with the physical prize, which is my 16 Styles workbook and my favorite brush pens. So congratulations, Bella and Lucy. Welcome and thank you for being here. Congratulations. You won the digital bundle along with the 16 Styles workbook and brush pens. And I know that a few of you stayed on for the giveaway, so I will announce the last one. So the fifth giveaway prize. Okay, I think yeah, we had five. Yeah, five. The fifth one, it is Melanie Hirsch. Congratulations. You also won the digital bundle and our 16 Styles workbook and my favorite brush pens. So thank you all for being here. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy that you're all able to spend time with me. And yeah, congratulations. Feel free to email us over at hello@learnsbyshells.com and we'll get those prizes out to you. I'm hoping to mail everything out by Friday. So thanks for being patient with me. But yeah, congratulations. Thanks again for tuning in. But again, I'm still going to be here and just finish up this card. So after that, I draw the presents. I'll make sure just to kind of, I like to make sure that I'm drawing them all at like opposite directions. So if I draw like the present on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, I'll go ahead and do that versus having the present right directly underneath the top present, if that makes sense. Because it could look okay, but I just kind of want it to be like more balanced. So if I do that, I don't want to draw more presents here, so I'm going to draw actually like a cake. So the cake, there are so many ways of doing it. Honestly, I was doing some client work recently, and they asked me if I can make like a more sophisticated cake. And I'm like, I'm sorry, this is my hand-drawn illustration. This is a cake that we're getting. Um, I think it's a fun cake. So basically, it's just like this triangle shape, and then I'll draw the bottom right here just to connect it. And then if I want, I can draw like an outer like frosting looking thing here. And then we can honestly have fun with this. Maybe I can have the frosting go like in straight lines instead, or it can be like a wavy frosting. It's totally up to you. And then I like to just add, you can do like a candle. I'm going to do a little cherry. And I'm going to move it around by tapping on that ribbon button right here next to the arrow and just highlight my little cake and tap on the arrow again so I can change the angle and direction. Yeah. Okay. And we're just going to do the exact same thing on the bottom left-hand side. Another trick, honestly, if you don't want to redraw, because I don't always redraw things, if you tap on the ribbon icon again, and then you highlight all of this, just like the area that you want, make sure nothing else is selected. This is a shortcut on my settings. I believe it should be all the same if you didn't change it yourself. But basically, you get three fingers and you just swipe down, and then it'll create this like copy and paste. It'll bring up this copy and paste option, and go ahead and just tap on cut and paste. I think that's like my go-to because then what will happen is you'll be able to see it on the layers tab and it just like brings it into its own layer, and that way we can duplicate a lot easier as well. So now with that on the layers tab, when you have it open, swipe it to the left and just tap on duplicate, and you should be able to now get that second cake and move it around. So after I duplicated it, again, is just swiping to the left and tap on duplicate. Now I'm going to choose the arrow button again so I can move it down here. And at the bottom, this settings here, we can actually do like flip horizontal and it'll just change the direction. And when I'm redrawing it, I just have to make sure that I can't draw things like symmetrical, so I've got to make sure that it looks kind of okay. So like maybe I'll change the direction of the cherry or something. Okay. Yeah. I hope you're all feeling good so far about all of this. Yeah, I'm reading this. I'm reading a few of the chats. Oh, I'm so happy that you are all here today. Oh, and so that you had a lot of fun. Well, thanks again for the ones I can that has stayed on for so long. I really appreciate it. I promise you're almost done. But yeah, how are you feeling so far? with the illustrations, this is your time to honestly, you can use this same thing and feel free to like move things around if you like. And just make sure that you feel good about it before we fill in the negative space and draw a couple more illustrations in between everything. Okay. I think I might bring this cake down a little bit lower. Maybe make it a little bit bigger like that. And then with the other illustrations, maybe I can draw some like fun confetti. One of the confettis that I like to draw all the time is like something like this, where it's like a loop. That. Maybe we can draw some like stars if you'd like. You can do that star. You can do like the twinkle star, I think. Is that? I don't even know if that's the right name for it. But like a four-pointed star instead. Yeah. And I just like to just have fun with it. Maybe draw some circles around here. I think circles are honestly the easiest to help fill the negative space here. Okay. Draw another four-pointed star. And yeah. How do we all feel about this so far? Yeah, oh, I love it. Tina, Cole, and Tan, oh, love it, love it. April, love it. Oh, thank you so much. I know the four-pointed stars are honestly really challenging. The five-pointed stars, it I had to practice it a couple of times because the only stars that I'm familiar with is like doing these stars, and I just kept practicing, and it's not the most perfect symmetrical star, but it is a star that I think looks good. So now that we have everything done, we can open up the layers tab. So I want to make sure that my sketch layer with everything is not going to like I want to make sure I have a brand new layer open again. So when I do that, this is going to be like our final piece, bringing it all together. So I think the happy birthday, I feel good about it, so I'm going to leave it alone. But for the rest, I'm going to make sure that I have a new layer. I'm going to choose the same brush under the calligraphy folder and just tap on the script brush that we were using and have fun with this process. Feel free to change the color you'd like. I'm going to do like a pink present. And honestly, we're just going to duplicate everything so that way we don't have to draw it again. So again, we're just going to just trace over our present. So with Procreate, one of the shortcuts is as long as you make sure there is no opening and you created like a solid shape, you can go ahead and with this, the color palette, you have to like tap and drag it. Okay. So tap and drag and it can fill the space. So again, in the color palette area, tap and drag and then it'll fill the space. If your entire page gets filled, that means your box, there's an opening somewhere. Okay. Yeah, and then and I know Anne, if it's going too fast, don't worry, the replay will be available tonight as well. So you can always rewatch it and just go at your own pace for sure. Bianca mentioned a really fun tip. A deep V and upside down V will create the four-pointed star. Yes, that is actually a really good tip. Yep. And then after that, I'm gonna keep it on the same layer. I know. So I'm gonna draw the ribbon on the same layer just so that way I can just duplicate it all together. But I'm just going to draw my ribbon here. I'm going to choose a red color. You'll see. Just draw my ribbon. Yeah. And we're just going to, we will go ahead and duplicate them after. So I'm just going to now get into drawing the cake. I think I'm going to use the exact same pink color I was using. Another way to just pick the same color you use is if you hold down a color, like magnifier will pop up and it will choose a color that you're hovering over. Okay, so just hold it down. Um, I'm wondering, I feel like the cake might need it might need the red outline instead, and then we can fill the inside of the cake with the pink. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I changed it back to red. So I'm just gonna outline everything. And again, the templates that I've created for y'all, it's just a reference guide that I wanted to create for you because I know how intimidating it can kind of be and not having like something to start with. So I wanted to make sure I had something available for y'all. So after I did that, I'm going to now pick my pink and I'm just going to drag and drop and fill these little sections. You can have fun with it and feel free to add more like frosting color. I don't know if that's what I want. I think that might look okay. So you can undo things if you like and you can do it accordingly. Yep. And then I'm going to choose a like a maybe like a darker red color for the cherry. Okay, and drop. Oh no. Okay, the cherry, I'm gonna have to draw it and the drag and drop would work if we're on a separate layer, but because I'm not, I'm drawing it on the same thing. I'm just going to fill it in, but I think it's okay. It's not a big surface to work with. Okay, then now choosing our cherry stem and then just drawing a leaf. Yeah, have fun with this. For the cake, I'm gonna actually choose the color white and add some sprinkles as well. Just like very random. Yeah. And as if you're still working on those illustrations, I'm just going to grab the same red color and just like outline the confetti and just kind of like work my way down. Feel free to choose whichever color you like for the confetti as well. I might do like a golden yellow for the stars. So it might feel like I'm moving kind of fast, but feel free to take your time even after the class if you are still working on it. I just wanted to make sure I can kind of showcase all the possibilities of the iPad here. But yeah, that's the reason why we spend so much time like on the sketch process because I want to make sure that you have it almost close to the final that you're looking for. Then it'll be much easier just to finish everything. Maybe I can choose like a color orange to draw like the circles. Totally up to you if you want to fill the circles. I might fill a couple of them, maybe not all of them. Yeah, but yeah, as I'm working, I'm just zooming in, zooming out all the time. But I'll do my best. Maybe if it's easier just to like keep it here. And then I'm gonna just choose like a blue color. and just work my way around the confetti. Maybe the blue I can go ahead and fill. Okay, I'm gonna have to zoom in. I want to make sure it's a little bit tinier, the confetti. How are we doing in the chat though? Are we all feeling okay? As I'm working my way down, I mean, we're honestly almost done here. We just have to like duplicate a couple of things. But I hope that you feel good about your card. I would love to see. Please do post it in the community. I want to see all the beautiful creations that you are doing. I already seen so many. Oh my goodness. I'm very, very grateful for y'all being here just with us. Thank you like so much for making time. Let me do a yellow confetti here. And yeah, so once you feel like you're in a good place with it, we can start duplicating things. So just going to your layers tab, and because I have it all in the same layer, we just have to do that same trick that I was telling you. So when you make sure you're on the layer that you want to duplicate, just tap on the ribbon icon right here, and then just highlight the illustrations you want to duplicate. Okay, just highlight it, and at the bottom, um, there is a copy and paste option. I know I did the three fingers. I guess maybe I forgot. At the bottom, if you like freehand and you trace over it, there's a copy and paste. Just tap on that and it will copy and paste it. And the way you can move it around is you can tap on the arrow button again and you can move it around and we can like change the rotation of it, resize if you like. Yeah. And we're just going to do the exact same thing for the cake. And I'm just going to work my way through just kind of recoloring a couple of things. But I want to make sure y'all feel good. I'm going to see if, Amy, do you think you can kind of read out a couple of questions um, as I'm kind of duplicating and recoloring this? I want to make sure I can help out.
Let me just find some.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Take your time. Yep. So once you feel like you're in a good place, we can also recolor the word happy birthday now that we kind of get a good feel for our color palette here. I might just do like the color blue. So I know someone had mentioned something about like, oh, like how do you choose like your own color palette or make one? There are multiple like videos online you can see of like how to make your own color palette. There's like I don't know if I ever really made one. Like there are like some really cool new ways to make it. But for me, I personally just like go to the color wheel and I would just like find the color that speaks to me and that I feel like will look good within the artwork that I'm creating. But I also do like to check out like mood boards on Pinterest and then kind of seeing like what overall feel and like look am I going for. So once I recolored that, just make sure your sketch layers are all turned off on the layers tab. And you can also go back to the canvas. So tap on the wrench symbol and just turn off your drawing guide. So under actions, turn it off. So that way you can kind of see how it all came together. And I hope it's so much fun. Um, yeah.
Shelly, what's a question from
Yeah.
Mary? She asked, would you explain when or why you might use digital instead of freehand?
Oh, like free, like using markers, right? I think it just depends on the medium and like what overall I'm trying to achieve. Because like there are, if you take a look at my Instagram, there are a lot of like DIY journals and canvases that I've made. And I just like freehanded everything. I think it just depends, like overall what you're like hoping to like I guess what the final product would look like. So oftentimes I get asked from if I have like some opportunity where I can license my artwork on something, you can definitely create like the hand-drawn feel and like scan it in and make some adjustments. But I also noticed for me, I first got into iPad lettering because then I wanted to start traveling and teach my workshops. And I knew I couldn't always like sit down and bring all of my art supplies with me. So I invest in my in an iPad. That way I felt like I can still create anywhere I was. And um I think it's really fun because it's like totally different styles. So it's up to you. It's up to you what you want to create and like what that final product will look like as well. Yeah. Well, I think I'm pretty much done. This is my happy birthday card. You can also play around with like the background color. It is up to you. It's on the layers tab at the very bottom, the background color. And you can just pick and choose which background you're hoping for. I like to kind of go with this like very light peachy color because I feel like it doesn't take away from the entire artwork and I can still see what I'm working with. Yeah. And no worries if you missed a couple of things. The replay will be available tonight. It'll take me a couple of hours. I'm gonna go go get some dinner after. But then I'll come home and work on the replay. But yeah, Amy, is there any other like question? I don't know if you're
No, I don't see anything else.
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and go through them, and if there's anything that like stands out, for tomorrow, our last day, I'm so sad about that. Our Q&A is a great time. I can go through and see if there's common questions that were asked, and I'll make sure to address things as well. But I'm going to go off. I'm gonna sh unshare my or change my camera so I can see all of your beautiful faces and all of your creations also. I would love to see. Yay! How are y'all feeling? Oh, so amazing. Oh my goodness. I love it. Yay! Good job. Amazing, April. So good. Chelsea, amazing. Yeah. And I love that like half of you all created on the iPad, the other half on the brush pens, and yeah. Tan, amazing. Benica, so good. Well, I feel so honored again that I really appreciate that you took your time today to spend time with me. Let me, before I forget, I'll do like a quick photo again. I'll show my iPad here and then my screen. Feel free to go off camera if you do not want to be in my photo. No pressure at all, but okay. I'll call it out. One, two, three. One, two, three. Amazing. Well, I don't want to go again. I'm having so much fun creating, and I know we can like spend all night. But I just really am so grateful. I know that the last 2 days I went a little bit over time, but thank you so much for just making time for me this today, if it's your morning or evening. I know if you're tuning in the UK, it's super late, so I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for making time. Um, I guess feel free to reach out if you have any questions. We're doing our best here to respond back to all the emails. But thank you so much for making this entire week so magical. I'm having so much fun. And don't forget tomorrow, if there's any like things that I need a demo, I'll definitely do that tomorrow. But I'll make sure to answer a lot of your questions. I guess until tomorrow, I'll see y'all next time. Take care. Bye.